Good morning, you folks out there in YouTube land. Thrash Pondo here, and I promised you new content this week, and new content you shall have. But before we get to said content, like, subscribe, forward, send money. I don't care. I'll take anything at this point, literally, not figuratively. But enough shameless self promotion. Uh, More like shameless begging at this point. But regardless, the content you shall now have. Now, as you remember, although there have been some catastrophic losses since, a really, really heavy casualty we've had of late has been late, great James Earl Jones. And I was going to do spotlights on same, and you already got one light of spot, and I was going to do another one. And one that kept coming back to mind was his portrayal of one of the greatest villains in cinema history, Falls of Doom. No, no, no. Great one as that is, no, no, of course, Darth Vader. But however, doing a retrospect on Darth Vader on YouTube, that's like doing a top 10 list of cat videos on YouTube. It is superfluous at best. But while doing my cursory research, I stumbled upon something that plagued me some 40 years ago when I first saw it, and still plagues me to this day. As part of the original Star Wars franchise, what happened to Bespin? Now, I mean, let's take this through in stages, right? Han and Leia show up, and somehow the Empire is one step ahead of them. And Lando Calrissian, with the betrayal on top of betrayal, helps them escape. Now, you'd think this would make Darth Vader very, very, very angry. And don't get me wrong, I am so glad Lando escapes. Great job, Lando. Woohoo! Lando, Lando, Lando. But he abandoned his city to the mercy of the Empire, an organization not particularly known for its mercy. And I'm like, what the devil is going to happen to these poor Bespinians? Now, as we all know, the Empire, of course, is modeled after Nazi Germany, and I, as a student of World War II history, I know what the Germans would have done in that case. But I did some digging. Now, some of you might be familiar with the comic series because apparently there were a few issues of the comic book which actually filled in what happened at that time. If you consider the comic book canon, which, yeah, I did a few of the comics for years and they didn't seem particularly canon to me, even laser canon. But anyway, moving forward, according to the comic series, which is the best I have to go on, the Empire put in a garrison and enforced some new laws and some heavy taxation to sort of punish Bespin. That doesn't sound right to me. I mean, we're dealing with an entity which blew up an entire planet because its princess wasn't forthcoming enough with the information when questioned. That's pretty severe. Now there's some backstory, yada yada, blah blah blah. The Bespin produced some commodity that was indispensable to the Empire, so they were loath to destroy it and felt that just bargaining chip in uh, bartering of goods and services would be a better way to go. All right, maybe. Also, they kind of looked out because before things could get really severe, there was the Battle of Endor, and the garrison from Bespin was moved to bolster Endor. But all this seemed like fluff, like just a way of getting us from point A to point B. Now, apparently, if I know my Star Wars backstory correctly, Empire and Return of the Jedi, or Revenge of the Jedi, if you will, there was supposed to be about 3 or 4 films in between there. There was actually going to be 2 trilogies at this point. So a lot of this could have been explained. Sadly, we did not get that. So we're just gonna have to go with what we got. One thing that was kind of interesting was Lobot, the human text messenger. He's actually captured, and what they do to him isn't particularly nice. Like something in a heavy metal magazine, they literally, not figuratively, they literally hardwire him into the city's computer system so that his abilities could be uh, utilized for the better running of the city. Kind of a Spock's brain situation. Brain and brain. What is brain? Good writing, which that episode suffered from. F- Suffered from lack of. You know what I meant. You know what I meant. Lighten up. Oh, by the way, for a written transcript of today's episode, get a pencil and a piece of paper and start writing down what I'm saying. I can't do everything for you. But anyway, this Lobot person, it's very similar to what happened to Thufir How. I always get this name wrong. Thufir Hawat, where he's basically captured and his abilities are exploited by the rival power in a not particularly nice sort of way. That actually lends me to an earlier premise, and it wasn't really my premise. It's fact. I just elaborated on it. That, of course, Star Wars is very, very, very loosely adapted. That's all, folks. Adapted from Dune. We all know the story. Lucas wanted to make Dune. Herbert said no way, so he made another story about a galactic empire which is under the thumb of the situations revolving around a desert planet. Mm. And Hidden Fortress, and Space Battle Cruise Yamato, and old World War II movies, and but my digression shall not digress at this stage. But anyway, what happens to him isn't particularly nice. And of course, with Return of the Jedi, Bespin is liberated. USA. US, I mean. REBLS. Anyway, the rebels got this. Anyway, so apparently that's what happened to Bespin. Not much. And that's a good thing in the story. There's a lot of needless violence. So I guess having one subplot where nothing too desperately bad happens is something that we can't be too upset about. But anyway, that's all I got for you folks today. I should, would, could have more content for you later on this week. Haven't quite decided. A couple of you folks have been clamoring for another creepy classic, and I got a couple of doozies for that one. Also, it looks like this week, I'll be having my normal Sunday night episode at 7:30. But Dan, because Sarah isn't up to doing content this week, but hopefully for in future weeks we'll be doing our Sarah, Dan, and Thrash collaborations. Possibly too. Dan brought up a great idea about doing the collaboration first and then leading in to Thrash's spotlight. Um, you guys tell me which would you would prefer. Should we go back to? Should we stick with collaborations with Dan and Sarah? Do you want to see me continue to do solo work at least on a limited basis, or shall we split it up? Where the collaboration is the main course, and then I kind of round out the evening. But anyway, until then, be good, be safe, be careful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.